Hey, welcome back to the channel. Got a different hat on, yeah. It's the hat I bought in Kauai that I never used. My back of my neck was starting to get burned. Same thing with the forehead, so baseball caps weren't cutting it anymore. So we found this really cool little valley with a stream and an old wooden bridge with stone supports. The problem that everybody's having is trying to find the composition that works to get the bridge and the stream in it. We got about 45 minutes to sunset, so I'm gonna get hopping trying to find a composition without getting, you know, that deep in the water, if you know what I mean. So, you know how photographers are always talking about beautiful locations don't always make for beautiful photographs? It may just be that the light's not quite right yet here, but this is a gorgeous location. And we're just having a heck of a time finding a composition. Shelley's got something that she thinks is gonna work from the bridge. The problem is I think the rest of us are trying to incorporate that cool looking bridge, and maybe we're so focused on that bridge that we're not seeing a composition that's better. Okay, so I think I found a composition. Hopefully it comes together right. I did a pano of the bridge from the distance with the creek flowing under it. The things that I like about it is the triangular light and dark contrast that the sun's casting right now. Maybe that's why I couldn't see it, is because the angle of the sun wasn't quite right yet for the composition to be there. So here's that photograph right now.
So in the field that day, I took two bracketed exposures, one exposing for the highlights and one exposing for the shadows. I did this in case I needed to bring detail back into the shadows in the final image. So on the right is the post-processed image. On the left is the raw image. They're very close together. Wish there would have been a better sky that day, but when the light hit, it hit pretty good, and we had roughly about 15 minutes to really work the scene to get the compositions that we wanted before that gorgeous light around that bridge disappeared. It was fleeting, I will say that. Very fleeting, very fast. Here again, you know, when you're on location, you only have a few days in one area. You want to get as many locations as you can, and we did the best with what we had to work with. I actually like this photo. I might actually crop it down a little bit more. This second one is actually a panoramic. I believe I did this at 70 mil in the vertical, and each one of these images that you're seeing is an individual frame of that panoramic stitched together here in the video. No post-processing done at this point. I just wanted to show you guys the individual frames that make up the final pano. And here it is. I call this one Photographer in the Wild. The light had gotten just a little bit better for this one, and I cropped it in just a little bit more because that sky was just nasty. I did some retouching up there too to try to get a little bit of blue in there, but it is what it is, and I like this one. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment down below. Which one do you like better?
Well, I ended up shooting the completely opposite direction from everybody else. They were shooting the bridge, and I decided this was a beautiful little vignette in front of me here. There's some little yellow flowers in the foreground and grasses in between, and then there's these two really tall pine trees and a hill in the background. And I love the way the stream curves into the image with a little tuft of rock in the center. And so I really thought it was beautiful, and I put on an ND filter to kind of tone it down just a little bit because the highlights are pretty bright. So we'll see how it turns out. I don't know. I mean, it's a little heavy to one side is my only thing, but I think it'll be all right. So we'll see how it turns out in post. So
So here are the photos that Shelley came away with from that afternoon, evening session. She kind of went the other way for one of hers. I really like how the creek leads you back into the Black Hills. She did a really good job on this. Plus she got a little bit of definition in that sky that had a lot of haze on it while we were there. In this one, she actually got a nice photograph of the bridge from a different angle. It really shows off the bridge. You don't get to see much of the creek, but I can imagine that creek gets pretty big during the melt in the spring. Here's that photo that I was talking about that Shelley was taking from the top of the bridge down the creek valley. And here's another look at the bridge, kind of very similar to my composition earlier that I showed you. And it just doesn't have exactly the same light. I think she took these after she took the one facing the opposite direction where she leads up the stream and into the Black Hills. So we had quite the day, hanging with Shawn and Corinne from Travels of Red Rover. That's why we kept saying we and all of us and the like. Keep in mind that if you ever find this location, or if you're out on some of the dirt roads in Custer State Park, you will see horses from time to time, and bison, and bighorn sheep, and prairie dogs, all sorts of wildlife. I think we've even seen coyotes out there. So just take it easy. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet done so, please hit that subscribe button, ding the bell for future notifications, and give us a big thumbs up. Once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.